A very good morning to all of you from both Thiru and myself, our wonderful gospel horse. Monday is the day of rest, so we had good rest. He's nice and fresh this morning. The weather's clear, nice and cool, and good day for outing in the forest. So God bless you this morning, and let's just continue where we left off. And I trust through the last two clips that you've understood a couple of things regarding salvation and how to appropriate it, and why it is the greatest need for every single human being on the planet today, without exception, irrespective of their background or their ethnicity or their status in life. The Bible says God is not a respecter of persons. In other words, He shows no partiality. Anyone who chooses by their free will to place their faith for the forgiveness of their sins and for eternal salvation by believing in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ alone, plus nothing else. And we can never emphasize it enough, plus nothing else. God accepts you as you are. Now, we'll see how much we can get through, and but we wanted to talk about what happens when the moment you believe. Now, the question of believing doesn't really come into play unless you know what the situation is. Romans, I think it's 3:23, it says that all have sinned. God is telling us through the Apostle Paul, according to the mystery of revelations, things we never knew through what Jesus Christ spoke in his earthly ministry and in detail. And so God, through the Apostle Paul, tells us, his handpicked apostle, that all without exception, every single one has sinned and fallen short of God's glory. Now we need to examine that statement, because if we are truly honest with ourselves, we find that we are not right. It's why we do the things we do. Sometimes we do the things we do not like to do. And when we do those things, then we move on with regret and guilt and shame and lack of confidence, and we can develop inferiority complexes and all kinds of things. And we have to face the judgment of the world, the opinions of men. So, and that's a burden. So what happens here is that the moment we come to that place of understanding, yes, I am a sinner. And let us not forget that when we talk about one being a sinner, when I say that I am a sinner, it's not so much the acts of sin, but rather it is that sin nature that exists in me, that I have inherited from my forefather, the first man to be created, and because he disobeyed one simple instruction. And because he disobeyed one simple instruction, the Bible tells us that, come on boy, enough, come on. Bible tells us that because of one man sin, death came to the whole human race, to every man. But the good news is that immediately after that, there's a word called but. And then Paul the Apostle says, but through one man, now speaking of Jesus Christ, he says that many shall be made righteous. And why does it say many and not all? Because it simply means those who will choose to believe. That's why the word many is used. But the offer of the free gift of salvation is open to all. So, And so speaking of Jesus Christ, because of his righteousness, because of his sinlessness, and because he has paid the sin debt, righteousness will come to every man. This is not man's righteousness, but this is a righteousness that is imputed by God to us. And we've already discussed the word imputed, which simply means to put into one's account. So it is accounted for us for righteousness. So we need to examine ourselves and ask ourselves, is this true about me? Why do I lie? Why do I get jealous? Why do I get angry? Why do I get envious? Why do I get covetous? Why do I get greedy sometimes? Why do I swear and curse when something is not going my way? Because no one taught us how to do that. Our parents didn't teach us to do that. Our teachers never taught us to behave like that. But yet we do without anyone teaching us. And the reason is because that sin nature exists in us. So it is that sin nature that exists in us that causes us to commit acts of sin. So God says, and this is not a word of condemnation, but rather it is pointing out our spiritual condition, where God clearly tells us that hands up. Hands up. Where God clearly tells us that this is your condition and there's nothing you can do about it. And the message is that I have done it. That is why it says, but the righteousness of God has now been revealed. Revealed means it was kept secret, but now it has been made known. So the first thing that happens is that we get saved the moment we believe. Once we understand that we are sinners and accept the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. The truth is hard, but the truth is simple, it's powerful, and in fact it is the truth that sets us free. That's why Jesus Christ said, when you know the truth will set you free. So consider that just for today, okay? And the moment we believe, the first thing that happens, God imputes his righteousness, and you immediately become a child of God, an irrevocable child of God. Nothing can ever touch that or take that away. So that's assurance number one. So have a blessed day, and we will pick this up hopefully tomorrow. God bless you, and just have a nice day.